What is up, guys? The fantasy football season is heating up. It's almost playoff time. Things could not be closer. Almost everyone is playing with something on the line this week, and I thought we needed to get a podcast in, break it all down. I've got an awesome interview at the end of the show for you guys. You're gonna love, but don't fast forward to the end just for the interview. Listen to the show, then you can see the interview at the end. You'll like it. We're gonna talk. Well, we're gonna talk about all the matchups from last week. There were some big ones. Then I'm gonna go through the standings, kind of call it what everyone's playing for. Look at this week's matchups and what needs to happen. It's gonna be a fun show. Sit tight. You're gonna enjoy it. We'll start with our first matchup. Minotti beats Rob 196 to 114. Minotti gets a giant game from Will Fuller. It is the last game he'll be getting from Fuller for a while. He's suspended for 6 games for he tests positive for PEDs. James Robinson, probably the pickup of the year, has a big game for him. Hunter Henry gets a touchdown. It must be nice to have a tight end. Pat Mahomes has a huge game. He's awesome. Fitzpatrick back is big for Minotti. If he's going to have a chance, he's probably going to get the 6th seed and make the playoffs. If he's actually going to make a chance, though, he's going to need Fitzpatrick and Devontae Parker. And to have Devontae Parker, he's going to need Ryan Fitzpatrick. Feels like they're going to go back to Tua this week, though. And I don't know if I get why they should. I think they can make the playoffs. Why the fuck would they stick with Fitzpatrick? Whatever. I don't know. Minotti could be a contender in the playoffs, though. Rob, injuries are piling up for Rob. He loses Lamar Jackson, who was already kind of being shitty anyway. Wow. Russell Wilson. Robert Griffin only had 33 passing yards yesterday. I did not only watch the first half of that game. I had not even seen it. Brandon Allen played the whole game, and he didn't do a whole lot better. It's a tough loss for Rob. But, yeah, it's a tough loss for Rob. That's about all I can say. Hopefully for him, David Johnson could be back this week. Lamar Jackson, I think, will be back because they seem to just keep pushing the game back so that he can play. I don't know. That seems odd, but whatever. Big games for Deebo Samuel, and for Minotti, he's got Mostert coming back. Lazard, Minotti's got a pretty decent team. He can make some, he can make some waves in the playoffs. It's certainly possible. Let's move on to our next matchup. What do we got here? Malensky beats Rico on Wednesday afternoon football with a pretty good performance from Juju. I don't know if you guys were watching, but they kept projecting Juju for 15 more points than whatever he had. There was like a minute left in the game, and they were saying Juju was going to score 32 points. I'm like, man, he's going to have big garbage time here, even though his team's winning. For Malensky, though, Goddard had a nice game for him. We had 40 rushing yards. Wentz sucks, though. Yeah, he sucks. At least he didn't turn it over. Tannehill is a good game. Amari Cooper is a good game. Man, that's funny. I didn't realize Cooper had such a good game. I started Dalton. I just assumed all the receivers sucked because Dalton sucked. Zeke, what the fuck? Yeah, not the year you want to have Zeke. On the Rico side, Baker does okay. DJ Metcalf was a monster. He is literally like a monster. The Hopkins letdown cost Rico, most likely cost Rico a playoff spot. He's still in it, but we'll get to that kind of stuff later. Darius Slayton takes a 0. Oh, man, I'm just seeing this now. There was a play early in that game, because I was watching. There was a play early in that game where Daniel Jones literally 2 inches less, and Slayton takes it for like a 60-yard touchdown, and Rico wins the game. I think if Rico won, he'd be in the playoffs, or in the playoff hunt. Rico's still in the hunt. He's just gonna need some work. Am I talking really fast? Feels like I'm talking really fast. I think that's about all we can say about that game. Neither had anybody on their bench, really. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next game. Okay, I am back. Well, you guys didn't even know I left. Felt like I was just yammering really fast there, so I stopped, smoked a little weed, and now I am ready to get back on with the show. Moving on to our next matchup, I will ignore that text. Moving on to our next matchup, we got Dustin takes on Lemmer. Dustin and Jacob, 130 to 112, get the win. They're 11th in a row. Did not realize they had won that many games in a row. Allen Robinson has been really awesome for them. It was a low-scoring event. Josh Allen, who's been, their star, he didn't have a great game. Yeah, it's the Chargers too. That should have been a good matchup. Gronkowski has a good game. Wayne Gallman, he actually looks really good. Taysom Hill has also, he's going to run like that. He's going to be good. Man, this team just keeps on winning. Can't talk too much shit. I'm going to get into a team-by-team, thing later, so I don't want to get too far ahead. But they've overcome some adversity to get to the point that they're at. For Lemmer, Justin Jefferson, who he got from me, had a big game. And that was about it. T.Y. Hilton. Well, there was a T.Y. Hilton sighting this week. Travis Kelce, he's really good. Daniel Jones is hurt. That's going to be rough for Lemmer next week. We'll talk about Lemmer's matchup a little bit. Oh, a bit of a spoiler there. We're going to talk about Lemmer's matchup a little bit in our special guest interview. Cole Beasley was a letdown. I had him in DFS. I was expecting a little more out of him. That whole the Bills all of a sudden started running the ball this week. Both running backs had pretty decent workloads. It didn't make any sense. They've been doing good, just fucking throwing it every play. Indy defense, a last minute pickup, supposed to be one of the best defenses in the league. We'll talk a little more about that when we get to Chuck's matchup, but -3, that is bad. Lemmer could really use Thielen back this week. And maybe Gaskin too. I had not heard. I think Thielen will be back. I had not heard anything about Gaskin. Not a whole lot to say about that matchup. Well, nothing positive. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about everyone's teams. It was a low-scoring matchup. We all get those. I had a win on one of those a couple of weeks ago, maybe against Kish. No, not Kish. I can't remember who it was, but I did have one. Moving on to our next matchup. Case of the COVIDs, which I get why he changed his name to COVIDs because his whole team has fucking SARS, but Case of the Sundays is actually one of my favorite team names because it's like Case of the Mondays, but Sunday. But it's also, like Sigurd of the Volsungs, it's, I don't know. I think that's a cool team name. He took on Kish this week. Sorry for the digression. He took on Kish this week. Obviously, got a monster game from Tyreek Hill. 65.9 points. I'm going to have to go. I don't think I can go back and look up and see if that's a record because they don't let me do week by week. Like, they can show me, who wins week by week, but they won't show me, the actual matchups. Yahoo's worth, billions and billions of dollars. They can't pay for a little extra fucking cloud storage to keep that info for us. Seems like fucking bullshit. I don't know, but it's a lot of points. I went against him in my CBS league, and we weren't having a very good day, and I didn't really think about it. The guy we were playing was doing nothing. He didn't have a player worth more than 8 points during the 1 o'clock games. He was projected for 100 points total, and I didn't even think anything of it. And then I checked back later, and he had Tyreek Hill, Gronkowski, and the Saints defense scored him. That league has really stupid defensive scoring, but it scored him 130 points, and he fucking crushed us by a mile. Probably, knocked us out of any chance of the playoffs. That's fucking great. Case's team is good. He obviously can't get 65 from Tyreek Hill every week, but Eckler is back, and I bet he's going to be pretty good. Kamara can only get better. I don't know. I mean, obviously Kamara's a great player. The Taysom Hill offense is hurting the offense, though. Yeah, Tom Brady, not the fantasy MVP really that we said, but, he's really great as a QB2. Bad week from Kyler Murray. He didn't run that much, and he didn't throw it deep. I don't know. They said they were talking about a shoulder injury from Murray. My guess is that impacted him. Or maybe it was just that I was playing against Kenyon Drake, so instead of stealing those goal line touchdowns like Murray always does, that fucking ball hog, he handed it off instead. Man, I'm just looking at this team. Earlier in the year, Crowder was getting the ball thrown to him every play. with Prescott, CeeDee Lamb look great. When I watch the Rams and they give the ball to Darrell Henderson, he sure looks pretty good, but you never know what the fuck they're going to do. Manny Sanders is a guy I really like, but with Taysom Hill, he's not going to ever do anything. Well, if you're starting Hollywood Higgins, you are probably in trouble. And Jared Goff. Jared Goff has lots of good receivers. He shouldn't suck so much. I don't know. I probably would have found a way to start Peterson, though, now than looking down your team. And McCaffrey is on bye this week. I will say if I want to try to be a little positive for Kish here, I like Kish. I like to encourage his team. If he ends up in the Patriot Bowl, which he's probably one of my favorites, not my favorites, but if I was setting favorites, he'd be high on my list of people to be in it. He's going to get McCaffrey back for the Patriot Bowl, which is bad news for whoever he plays against. Let's move on to our next matchup. It's Brandon who takes on Chuck. I didn't even realize what a big matchup this was for me until today. Or actually, it was last night when Walensky sent that message saying that if he wins, he's in the playoffs. If Chuck would have won, I won, I was in. Fucking Chuck, man. Always trying to fucking screw me. So instead, Brandon gets the win. Gets a good game from Rodgers. Those 4 touchdowns. Is Aaron Rodgers now the king of throwing for the most touchdowns with the least amount of yards? Seems like every game I look, it's like Aaron Rodgers 4 touchdowns, 187 yards. Keenan Allen, what I hear, he scored a touchdown in 6 or 7 straight games. Ridley has a decent game with Julio out. Latavius Murray, apparently, that's the guy for Taysom Hill. Jarvis Landry, that was the winner right there. Well, no, Latavius and Jarvis Landry. I would like to know before what what Brandon would have projected or been happy with from Latavius and Jarvis Landry. I'm guessing if you told him he got 28, he'd have been like, yeah, okay, I'll take that. Instead, he gets 58. Sterling Shepard. He does okay. He gets 7 for 60. Matt Ryan, I actually cut Matt Ryan in another league. 0 from Cook. Okay. Move over to Chuck. Gets a monster game from Derrick Henry. I just got to say, I have been way too low on Derrick Henry for way too long. I'm watching this guy play against what is supposed to be one of the better defenses in the league. And he looked absolutely unstoppable. It looked... I don't even know what to compare it to other than, if you gave a horse the ball and then it went galloping through the line of scrimmage. That's what it looks like when Derrick Henry goes running through the line of scrimmage. That first line of defenders has no chance of bringing him down. And I was listening to some podcast, and I can't even remember the Colts, one of their best defensive linemen was out, and his name's eluding me right now. He was out, and it showed. It's oh, really? Was he supposed to tackle Derrick Henry on every fucking play? Because apparently nobody else was assigned to him. The other plan was, this defensive lineman tackles him, or everybody in your secondary just piles on until he eventually goes down. I know Tyreek Hill had a bigger game, and that was their trade or whatever. It doesn't matter. Tyreek Hill is great. No one is debating that. I could not have been more impressed with watching fucking Derrick Henry run over the Colts. That was one of the more impressive NFL football games I'd ever seen. The rest of Chuck's team was pretty shitty. He had to start Mike Glennon, and it actually worked out better than the rest of his team. Devontae Adams gets his weekly touchdown, but didn't have a monster. Cooper Kupp, he's been a letdown for me. Cook didn't do a whole lot. Yeah, a lot of letdowns here for Chuck's team. I couldn't believe that he started... I know I wrote this in the thing, so you guys already saw it, but I couldn't believe he started Brian Hill over Roethlisberger. I felt like there was a good enough chance that game was going to happen. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. And I also didn't know that Gurley was out, because I didn't... With Julio out, I didn't even turn on that Colts game. It was probably the only game I didn't see. I probably would have... I don't know. Looking at his team, I probably would have tried to start Chenault last week. It wouldn't have... him and Rager only got him 2 more points. I would have been a little bit excited about Chenault. I think I almost took him as a cheap play in DFS. Okay, let's move on to the next matchup. Oh, it's my matchup. I give Swain a crushing defeat, 186 to 158. Swain had a good week. I am glad that Gus Edwards, if he would, he didn't start. He did start DeAndre Swift, who didn't play. I'm glad that Gus Edwards didn't score enough points to beat me. I would have felt bad if he had a guy on his bench who could have won it. Well, in that scenario, I think he actually may have won it. Wait, didn't he have Kirk Cousins had a big game on this bench, right? Yeah, 29. Had he started Cousins over Stafford or Bridgewater, he still wouldn't have won. He should have started him. That was stupid. I keep looking at Swain's team and thinking, like, why? I don't know. Whatever. Swain's team is fine, and he has a very good chance of playing in the Patriot Bowl, despite the fact that he has a pretty good team. He gets a giant game from Gibson on Thursday, which really it evened out. Like if you would have told him, I'm sure, that he would get 38 points combined between DeAndre Swift and Antonio Gibson, he would have been like, yeah, I will take that. That's exactly what he got. Diggs had a letdown. That Bills offense just had a big letdown this week. Darren Waller, man, that was like I actually listened to a few podcasts last week because I felt like with Thanksgiving, I was all out of sorts. So I was trying to like make sure I didn't miss anything. They all loved Waller and Carr last week. So I switched my DFS team. I had Deshaun Watson and Jordan Reed, and I switched it to Darren Waller and Derek Carr. That didn't work. I wouldn't have won either way, but it didn't work. He gets 2 touchdowns from Drake, which I talked about earlier. That was shoving it in my face. I was watching that Sunday night game, or no, was it a 4 o'clock game? With Los Angeles returned that touchdown, or returned scored that defensive touchdown. I don't know, whatever. Moving on to my team, Deshaun Watson. What the fuck's his name? Bill O'Brien getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to my fantasy team. Deshaun Watson has been great ever since. Brandon Cooks is decent. McLaurin has been very steady for playing such a shitty offense. If they get Trevor Lawrence, oh no, I don't even know what their record is. They're not going to get Trevor Lawrence. If that team gets some kind of quarterback, maybe get Ryan Fitzpatrick next year. Oh, I'd love to see Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing to Terry McLaurin next season, and they draft some rookie. Nick Chubb coming back has also been gigantic for my team. Yeah, I just want to talk about Nick Chubb for like 1 minute. Like, I was so annoyed this entire offseason listening every fantasy show I would put on when I was getting ready for the draft. It was all about like, oh, if Nick Chubb gets hurt, Kareem Hunt will be a top 5 running back. Like, well, Nick Chubb got hurt, and was Kareem Hunt a top 5 running back? No, he wasn't even fucking close, because he doesn't live on the same planet of running backs as Nick Chubb does. I mean, for some reason the Browns won't throw Nick Chubb the ball, so for fantasy, he's not going to be as good as some other running backs. And some weeks, maybe even Kareem Hunt will get it. But, man, I don't know. That made me so fucking mad this whole offseason listening to that. And now the season is playing out, we're seeing that Nick Chubb is awesome and Kareem Hunt is like, just like a good NFL running back. Whatever. Let's back to the matchup. David Montgomery has an 8 for me. He goes over 100 yards and scores a touchdown. I did do, like, I know I wrote in the message board Tiger Woods fist pump, and I did Tiger Woods fist pump in my room watching that. Because I was watching, he's like getting close to the 100-yard bonus. Like, oh, and they're at like the 10-yard line. I'm like, oh, if he runs this in, that's like an 11-point swing for me. And then it happened, and fist pumping. Yeah, we'll see. I went from Patriot Bowl to chance at the playoffs. I don't want to be greedy. I'm feeling good that I'm not going to be in the Patriot Bowl now, but playoffs would just be a bonus. All right, now let's look at speaking of the playoffs, I guess. Yeah, let's look at the standings and what everyone's going to be playing for this week. Okay, sorry about that. Well, again, I keep forgetting. You don't know I'm taking a break. I went and refilled my wine, and now I'm back. We're going to start right at the top of the standings. Dustin and Jacob are playing for nothing this week. They've got the number 1 seed wrapped up. They've won 11 games in a row. They have the top scoring team in the league. They're headed to the playoffs. You look at their team and you think, like, well, how can they win in the playoffs when they've got Michael Thomas hasn't done shit and Drew Brees is out. Josh Jacobs, he was a guy I was super high on this year. He's pretty much sucked. what else do they have? Let me click on the team. They have a couple other things that have gone against them. Allen Robinson's been great. Josh Allen's been great. T. Higgins now is not worth anything. Oh, then Joe Mixon, another one of their. I mean, yes, T. Higgins did get a touchdown last week, but I mean that offense sucks with now. Like, I don't know. It was more of a garbage time offense with Burrow as well. Mixon, he has sucked and he's hurt. But at the same time, you look at their team and you say, like, well, they've gotten to 11 straight wins with all the bad luck. Like, they've overcome the bad luck so far. So if they just get some good luck that goes in their favor in the playoffs, I mean, they've got as good of a chance as anybody, even though I'm guessing if you polled everybody, they would pick one of these next two teams to win it. But the Dustin Jacob team they've got a shot. I don't know, I'm not going to make any predictions today, but yeah, they got a shot. We move on to the Case team. Case is playing Chuck this week. Let's see. Let me look at total points. I shouldn't have clicked there. Case is behind Chuck in total points. So if Chuck wins, Chuck will take the number 2 seed out. So I had actually thought of that wrong. I thought Case had more total points. No, so if Chuck beats Case this week, Chuck gets the bye. If Case wins, Case gets the bye. So they're playing for something for sure. Well, everyone except for Dustin and Jacob are playing for something this week. Cool spoiler alert for you guys there. So that also includes Chuck. Who's the next on our list. Chuck wins, he gets the bye. Although I guess he has to win. Oh no, Chuck wins, he gets the bye. God, you idiot. Stop drinking so much wine. 1 second, sorry. Okay. Moving down, next, 4th place right now, the Gridiron Price was in dead last place just a couple of weeks ago. I'm thinking Nick Chubb coming back had a big part of that. But now I'm in 4th place. And oddly enough, I'm playing the guy right behind me, Brandon. The winner of our matchup is in the playoffs. And the loser, well, that comes down to the next guy, Malinsky. If Malinsky wins, the loser, me and Brandon, is out. Even though Brandon has 100 points more than Malinsky and I have basically 150. Yeah, the loser is out. And, pretty well, I guess if Malinsky wins, the loser is out. This is going to be a close one for me and Brandon. We have a long history of, I guess if we did a rivalry week, Brandon would probably be my rival. He beat me earlier this year. And in, must have been like 2017, he beat me 3 times. Twice in the regular season and once in the playoffs. I'm thinking, but I've knocked him out of the playoffs twice. I'm thinking if he beats me this week, though, we are even, and he no longer gets the claim that I always beat him. Moving down, Malinsky, we just talked about. If Malinsky wins, he is in. Can't stop him, even though he's got the least amount of points in the league. He is in if he wins. Moving down to Minotti, he's got a pretty good grasp on. He is the 3rd highest scoring team. He's going to get that wild card. There's almost no chance. I mean, he has to bomb, and somebody else has to come up pretty good to pass Minotti. So he's not playing for a ton. As long as he doesn't bomb, he doesn't do anything. Who does he have this week, though? Because I'm sure it matters for the rest of us. He takes on Rico. Rico still outside chance at the playoffs, right? It's 6-7. If I lose, I'm 6-6. Yes. If Malinsky loses, Rico still has an outside chance of the playoffs with a win. He would have to pass. He would have to get. So if Rico wins, he only has to. And Malinsky loses, Rico only has to outscore Brandon. If Brandon were to beat me, or just Brandon in general, he'd have to outscore Brandon by. What is that? My math's not great today. I'm a little stoned. 22 points. Or he'd have to outscore me by, 60 points. So that's certainly doable. So Rico still got a chance, but he can also go the other way. If Rico falls to 5-8, he's got a chance at the Patriot Bowl, definitely. Let's move down to Rob. Rob this week has Swain. Swain Yeah, Swain's kind of been getting screwed. And if it wasn't for Minotti, he would have a pretty good shot at the wild card. But he probably doesn't. He needs a win to stay out of the Patriot Bowl. I actually think he gets it. His team is pretty good. Um, Rob loses. How much would Rob have to lose by? Rob has 17-26. Oh, is Rob the Rob has less points than both teams in the bottom two. So if he loses and either Swain or okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here because we also got to talk about Kish. Let's just say this: if Rob loses, he's got a chance at the Patriot Bowl. If he wins, he would need to. Oh, if he wins, though, yeah. Actually, Rob's team's in a bit of a free fall with all his injuries, so I've kind of been ruling him out. But if he wins, and Malinsky loses, he only has to outscore either Brandon. For him and Brandon are what? He has more points than Brandon, and he has 10 or 11 less than me. So if Malinsky loses, Rob does have a legitimate shot. Yeah. Oh, I'd kind of been ruling Rob out, but I'm off on that. Moving on to Rico, we already talked about him. Kish, unfortunately, has a real shot at the Patriot Bowl. He takes on who this week? I'm sure we already said it. Oh, he has the first place team, and he doesn't have McCaffrey, and he's got some injuries. I'm looking down the thing. CeeDee Lamb's got Baltimore. Who knows what he's going to do? Or Manny Sanders is Atlanta, but are they going to throw the ball? I don't know. Kish has got a good chance at the Patriot Bowl. He can win to stay out. To make the playoffs, he would need Malinsky to lose, and he would need to score a lot of points this week. And yeah, he would need to outscore. His best chance would be Malinsky loses, I beat Brandon, and he outscores Brandon by like 80, and then everybody else who's between them too. Moving on to its bottom two teams, Swain was he at 1782. He's 40 points, or no. He's at 1782. Yeah, he's about 50 points behind Minotti. If he could outscore Minotti by 50 points, he could get himself into the wild card. So it's possible. Not likely, but possible. If he loses, he's in. Same with Lemmer sitting here at the 2-4-8 teams. Both teams have more points than, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams ahead of them. But that's just how this game goes sometimes. Swain gets, I know we already said it. Oh, he gets No, who's that? Malinsky. No, I clicked on the wrong guy. Sorry. Sorry about that. Clicked on the wrong guy. Lemmer has Malinsky. Swain, I know we already talked about this, but can't remember everything. Oh, he's got Rob. Yeah, see, I think Swain will handle Rob to get himself out of that game. Lemmer, on the other hand, he's got Malinsky. He's got some injuries. Russell Wilson has the Giants, though. I'm hoping maybe they can put up a big one. I'm really rooting for Lemmer this week. I don't know. Basically, the moral of the story is it's the last week of the season, even though this has been a really shitty year with all the weird things that have happened, but every single team except for Dustin and Jacob are playing for something. And I apologize to Jacob. I keep saying Dustin because I'm used to that just being Dustin's team. It is Dustin and Jacob. It's probably actually just Jacob, but I keep saying Dustin because I'm used to that being Dustin's team. I guess speaking of like the shitty year, I mean, do you guys remember it was only like a couple of weeks ago that when Minotti was saying, like, I said like a lot. Hold on 1 second. Let me try to straighten out. Okay. Well, Minotti was talking about how we needed to change the rules and, Case be going for the title again. I'm assuming now he would be regretting that because Case has a very good chance of repeating. He would not want to change the rules. But even at that time, like, I thought, like, yeah, he's probably right. I'm not changing the rules unless every single person wants to. But somehow it just felt like the NFL had the secret sauce that nobody else had at that time. And obviously that was not the case. It didn't make any sense then how they seem to be skating by without getting COVID cases and without getting games canceled when MLB couldn't do it. And, well, we found out now they just didn't have the secret sauce, and things are really kind of flying out of whack right now. And I kind of reading the room, it feels like they're going to get worse. Everywhere people are. Dustin just sent us a group text while I was talking that said that Ohio is now recommending that Ohioans don't travel to Ohio because we have so many cases. Like, things are going way up. I think we're going to get more situations like what you had with Baltimore and Pittsburgh last week. Though I did see Roger Goodell said no playoff bubble. They think that their protocols are working. Like, on what planet are their protocols working? Like, unless their plan is like, okay, we're just... No, none of it makes any sense. There's no scenario where the NFL can look at it and be like, nope, we got it. It's working. We fucking got it. It's not working. Like, I don't have a fucking better plan. But, like, to say, like, yeah, what we're doing is definitely working and we got this is really fucking stupid for a guy who makes, like, $50 million a year to say. Like, I guess he makes $50 million to go up there and just say whatever the owners want him to say. But I don't know. We're going to see how the season ends. I'm hoping we get a finish. I think we will. We will. Yeah, we will. They're going to push it. Just the idea, like, I don't know. I want to see the playoffs happen. Like, they got all these basketball teams to go do the bubble thing. Like, why can't the fucking NFL just go do it for a couple weeks? It's not even as long. I don't know. The NFL they have a weak players union compared to baseball and basketball, I guess, and they're just gonna do whatever the owners say. I don't know. Nope. Text. What did that say? Anything good? Nope. Okay. Well, guys, man, I did this pretty fast today, I guess, comparatively. That's everything. I was going to go through matchups, but I think we kind of already went through this week's matchups. Let's just click it real fast. I'm just going to go really quick, see what needs to happen. I play Brandon. Winner gets in. Loser has a chance if Malinsky loses. Malinsky plays Lemmer. If Malinsky wins, Malinsky's in the playoffs. Lemmer's in the Patriot Bowl. If Lemmer wins, he's probably out of the Patriot Bowl. Maybe, definitely, but I'm not going back to figure it out right now. He's probably out, though, and a few other teams have a shot. Swain plays Rob. Swain wins. He's definitely out of the Patriot Bowl, I think. Rob wins. He has a playoff chance. He has to have a big game, though. No, he doesn't have that big of a game. Rob wins. He can get in. Case versus Chuck. Winner is the 2 seed. Loser is probably the 3 seed unless they have like a horrible week. Dustin takes on Kish. Dustin's playing for nothing. If Kish loses, he's got a decent shot at the Patriot Bowl. I'd kind of like to see the Kish Handa. I usually root for Kish, but I kind of like to see the Kish Handa duet. Also like to see Handa have to sing the national anthem after he probably hasn't read any messages or looked at fantasy football the entire season. And then Minotti Rico. Minotti's got a pretty good grip on the wild card as long as he doesn't have a terrible week. And Rico needs Malinsky to lose, and he has a chance to get in. So, now we're going to go to what you've all been waiting for. My interview with your favorite guest, Matt Malinsky. He was as difficult as usual. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm sorry I made you wait so long. Here you go. Malinsky, buddy, welcome back to the show today. Last year's interview was a crazy one, but people loved it. We're glad to have you back. I know you said you've been busy with the kids and work and shit, so I'm just glad you could fit us into your busy schedule.
It's my job to handle life and death situations on a daily basis. It's what I do, and I'm very good at it.
That's cool, man. Okay, well, I gotta start off by saying this seems pretty lucky, but it looks like you're about to scam your way into the playoffs this year.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Fair enough. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
yeah, a little bit, but I'm good now. So let's get back to my point. All you need to do is win this week and you're in the playoffs, even though you have by far the least amount of points in the league.
You're a smart motherfucker, that's right.
Yes, that is right. Whatever, I'll just take the high road here and move along. Looking at your matchup this week, do you think James Conner is going to suit up? He's out with COVID.
Does he look like a bitch?
What?
Does he look like a bitch?
Dude, what are you talking about?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
Dude, that's not what I'm fucking saying. I'm sure he wants to play. I was just asking about like the NFL protocols. Like, had you heard anything about whether or not Conner was going to play this week? Jesus fucking Christ, man.
One of us has made a gross error.
Yeah, you did. And you were really fucking rude when you came on the show last year, too.
What the fuck's that have to do with anything?
Well, you asked me if you could come on, and then you're being a dick just like you were last year. That's what fuck. Can I ask you a few questions about, like fantasy football, the playoffs?
Shit, yeah.
So you got Lemmer this week. What do you think?
He's the toughest son of a bitch I ever met.
No, man. You're thinking of Brian Lemmer. This is Kevin you're playing this week. Brian's the one that's like really fit and looks like he works out a lot. No, you're playing against Kevin.
Don't give me attitude, sir.
Okay. I was just picking on Kevin a little bit there. Is there anything you wanted to say to him, before the matchup this week?
Shut the fuck up, fat man.
Oh, hey, that's not nice. Just because he's not as fit as Brian doesn't mean he's fat.
Fuck you.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm just going to end this interview. I hope Kevin beats you this week, keeps you out of the playoffs, gets me in.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know why you always gotta be such a fucking asshole. I can't wait to do this again next year.
You give me a call, alright?
Alright, thanks everybody for listening. Good luck this week. Everyone except for Malinsky. Fuck him. No predictions for me. I don't wanna jinx anything. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. I don't know. Yeah, just good luck. It's been a pretty good season for as shitty as it's been, and I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Maybe we'll do... I'd really like to do like a live stream, for the championship, or maybe one of the playoffs games, like during the Sunday night game or something. I don't know. We can talk about it. I think that would be fun. Okay. See you guys later. Go Browns.